to the chopper!
Hello everybody, hope you're all doing well. It's Lane here with MetaShackle. Today I'm going to be going over a couple of things that I've been talking about in my most recent videos. And as the vast majority of people in XRP become more bullish, it just makes me think that it's even more possible that this could play out how I've been talking. So let's not waste any more time and let's get into the video. Use the coupon code 1776 for the entire month of July to get 25% off your first month of my Master Tier memberships on Patreon. I'll see you there. First off, taking a look at the DXY. As I've been talking about in previous videos, we've had these bouts where XRP and the dollar are trading with each other, then they're trading against each other, then they're trading with each other, then they're trading against each other. And as you can see, the dollar was actually trading right along with XRP on this move today. It looks quite similar to what we're seeing on the XRP charts right now. The DXY has been filling these gaps one by one, just filled this one right here on the 4-hour chart, and created another much larger gap right here on the 4-hour chart that's likely to get filled. But as of today, we did see the dollar and XRP trading together nicely. So it'll be interesting to see if that continues. If the dollar fills this gap, giving XRP another little boost, and then ends up coming back down to this bullish order block perhaps, filling this bullish BISI on the 4-hour, it'll be interesting to see if XRP comes right along with it. Essentially the dollar dragging down XRP. Since it traded together up here, is it going to trade together to the downside, assuming that's what the dollar's going to do? Because it has been showing a lot of strength lately, but at the same time, these patterns like this generally work out to the bearish side. Taking a look at the XRP Heatmap, you can see that there was quite a bit of liquidity pooled up in this area right here. We were trading down in this area throughout the weekend, moved up here on Sunday, and then popped up here last night, biting a big chunk out of the buy-side liquidity right here, which likely has a lot of short positions. So there was a lot of selling going on in the market, which likely helped to push prices back down. But a lot of people were becoming extremely bullish, saying this is it, we're breaking out, we're going to the moon, we're going to the moon. I even had a couple comments on my YouTube channel of people saying that XRP only goes up from here. I don't think that's the case. What goes up must come down. What goes down generally bounces. But as you can see, there's a ton of liquidity resting down below, with the brightest band resting right down here at about that 214.5 level, even going much lower down into this level, into the 90s and even below, which is one of the two areas of possibility that I've been talking about. And another thing you have to notice is XRP is showing the same bearish formation that we're seeing in the DXY. With price rising up like this, oftentimes you'll see this fall off of these like a waterfall. And I do believe that's what we're going to see. So taking a look at the XRP daily chart, this is going back to March and in the beginning of April. This right here was the Trump tweet pump. You can see that price came up here, getting rejected around the 50% mark of the Gaussian channel. It formed this very interesting pattern right here that you can see, which I've been talking about in my last couple of videos. You can also see that we're getting to the end of this wedge pattern, where the candle getting towards the end, labeled as number 4, collapsed, bringing price down to the April lows down here at about $1.61. Once price broke down to the downside here, with XRP losing about 35% of its value in the next 12 days. Now, if you pay attention to what we're seeing here with these candle formations, now we'll go take a look at the current price. What we're looking at here is the current price of XRP. It was trading around that 50% mark on the Gaussian channel, but we did get this big bullish move today, but this candle is not bullish in any means. Basically, once this candle pushed up, it instantly got pushed back down into a weak doji. You can see that there's only about enough room here for one more candle before space runs out. If you look at this candle formation right here, it very closely resembles the 4-candle pattern that we just looked at. We are now forming this candle right here and still have one candle to go, which strangely enough would take us to July 9th. And if you're one of my Patreon members who recently saw my master tier video in regards to the number 9 and what I showed you in regards to the XRP chart, I find that very interesting that tomorrow this next candle would be on the 9th. Now in my last video, I talked about breaking above this trend line would likely break the pattern, but that's not the case because price broke out and fell right back down into the pattern. So essentially what we saw here with this bullish move up today, moving up into about that $2.35 level, was nothing but a fake out. And generally when you see these fake outs to the upside, it generally means that a move to the downside is coming. Now this formation looks eerily similar to what we have seen, and if you've been watching my videos lately, you know that I believe we have two options. Moving to the downside, somewhere around $1.75 to about $1.83, taking the lower liquidity in that range. If we break through that range, moving lower, I believe that we will go down to the bullish order block, which is resting about $1.47.5, which I've showed many times is where I have 2 limit buy orders sitting, just waiting, just in case this occurs, because this doesn't have to happen, but I do think that it's going to happen. Now, whether or not it will come down to that lower $1.47.5 level remains to be seen, but I do believe that we are going to go after the lower liquidity at a minimum in that $1.75 to $1.83 range. And this chart pattern right here, the way we're seeing it here, it's lining up exactly like what we saw previous to the collapse in price, moving in to what right now is the pattern low since the breakout of the Trump election pump. And if this repeats, I think it's very likely that if we do break down through that level around here, which would be the first level, likely sweeping this candle here, if we don't get the reversal back to the upside here, it's very likely that we're going to come down to this area and sweep this candle at a bare minimum. But I do think that we will come down to about that $1.48, $1.50 level, somewhere right in this area, to either fill that fair value gap in efficiency that's still waiting to be filled and likely bouncing off of the bullish order block at 147.5, which would be the reversal. Once this sell side liquidity was captured, it would clear the liquidity for the entire pattern, because this candle here cleared all the liquidity here with the exception of this area and what we have seen form since then there and right through here. If price came down here hitting that 150 range, it would completely clear out all the sell side liquidity for the entire pattern, which then could allow us to make the move that we have been waiting for, with a sharp reversal to the upside and moving up to set a new all-time high, taking out the previous all-time high that was set right here. But I don't believe we're going to see this big move breaking to the upside until at a minimum we have swept the sell side liquidity from this candle and likely this candle. But if it comes down to this area, it only makes sense that it would fill that inefficiency before moving to the upside. Now, I know a lot of people don't want to hear this because everybody's bullish, everybody's calling for the moon, everybody's, oh, we got all this good news coming out, everything's good, Brad said to lock in, he's testifying in front of the crowd on Wednesday, we're going to the moon, we're going to the moon. But I honestly think that a lot of people are going to get caught off guard, because if this move to the downside does come to clear out this sell side liquidity, a lot of people are going to get liquidated, a lot of people are going to panic sell, and when we do see the reversal, a lot of people are going to get left behind. So even if this doesn't occur and we break to the upside and set a new all-time high from this point, it's still good to know about this and to consider its possibility, because the last thing that you want to happen is to be caught off guard by this. But I do think that this pattern we saw right here is likely going to repeat once again before we see the move to the upside.